devotees are encouraged to wear yellow, those who come to temple today, but imbibing the mood of spring is more important than just the dress. So even if you're not wearing yellow, please do come. So
thank you, Prabhu. Let's do it, as always, 10-15 minutes before 8 o'clock for pertinent questions. Here, there was the love and embrace, garland, chai.
So today there are many appearances and disappearances, disappearance days. There is the appearance day of Vishnu Priya Devi. There is the appearance day of Raghunath Das Goswami, about whom we'll talk today, discuss today. And then there is the appearance day of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Raghunandan Thakur. And there is the disappearance day of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Then, and of course, it's Vasant Panchami, the first day of spring in India. So I chose one verse which which comes in the pastime of Raghunath Das Goswami from Chaitanya Charitamrit. So I'll present that. I can't see the preview. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrit Antya Leela, chapter 6, verse number 220. A very nice verse. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes this verse in relation to Mahaprabhu witnessing and relishing the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. Mahaprabhura Bhakta Ganera Vairagya Pradhan Yaha Dekhi Prita Hana Gaura Bhagavan. Mahaprabhura Bhakta Ganera Vairagya Pradhan Yaha Dekhi Prita Hana Gaura Bhagavan. Translation: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Renunciation is the basic principle sustaining the lives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. Seeing this renunciation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is extremely satisfied. Purport: anyone, whether an ordinary materialistic person or a pure devotee, can understand the behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees if he studies it minutely. One will thus find that the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not at all attached to any kind of material enjoyment. They have completely given up sense enjoyment to engage fully in the service of Lord Sri Krishna and dedicate their lives and souls to serving Krishna without material desires. Because their devotional service is free from material desires, it is unimpeded by material circumstances. Although ordinary men have great difficulty understanding this attitude of the devotees, it is greatly appreciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Want to connect this now? Or yeah. Yeah, I leave this meeting and
Jagannath is muted.
So, yeah, I pray that we can all go closer to Krishna by discussing these personalities. So, Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis, of course, and he has this unique contribution that he served in Jagannath Puri as well as in Vrindavan. And he is considered as the epitome of renunciation in our sampradaya. So I was reflecting on this renunciation aspect. There are, if we see our own life, if we see people around us, if we see various spiritual paths, renunciation can be of 3 types. This is not exhaustive, there can be more. So renunciation, the first one, which is the most short-lived one, is the renunciation that is fueled by overindulgence. When we overindulge in something, for example, if there is a feast, I remember once in Pune temple there was a feast and they had made this nice dry fruit custard where half of the cup was dry fruits and half of it was very nice sweet custard. So and then naturally we were young that time and we overindulged like completely. We had, and then we ate that to a point that we became almost like averse to it. Like, enough now, I don't want this anymore. So there can be renunciation that can be fueled by overindulgence, which is most short-lived, because the next time that desire hits, it hits with much more force. Then there is the renunciation that is fueled by frustration, and this is there are 2 subcategories here. One is renunciation which is forced upon us, so to say, due to our inability to do something, and then there is the renunciation that comes because of diminishing returns. Something that was giving me a lot of pleasure, although I'm able to do it, but I'm just observing honestly that it's not giving me that pleasure anymore. That is the case with material pleasures. And then the third one is this second one, renunciation by frustration, that is actually discussed in the 4 purusharthas, of the 4 human objectives: dharma, artha, jnana, moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So dharma, the pious religiosity, dharma doesn't. So when Vedas talk about these 4 human objectives, they talk about dharma. Dharma is not dharma of love of God, but dharma is the dharma of pious religiosity. So typically one performs dharmic actions in the Vedic parlance to get artha. Artha means something valuable. So it could be wealth, it could be fame, power, etc. And then with that artha we fulfill our kama or our desires, and then this cycle goes on. We do dharma, we do artha, kama, dharma, artha, kama, dharma, artha, kama. But then we realize that this is not giving me much pleasure, right? And now that there comes the 4th one, which is moksha. Now I want liberation from all of this. So that is this second category, fueled by frustration. Shastras recognize that. And then the third category, which actually comes out very, very strongly in the life of Raghunath Das Goswami or any great souls, is renunciation that is fueled by attachment to something higher. So attachment to Krishna, especially. The Bhagavatam says, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayadahitukam. So there are 2, I guess, consequences that naturally come because of practicing bhakti. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. What are those 2 things? Vairagya, renunciation, and jnana, or knowledge. So these 2 things come as a consequence of practicing devotional service. So Raghunath Das Goswami was born in a village called Krishnapur near Mayapur. So it used to be a group of 7 villages called Adi Saptagram, and one of the villages was Krishnapur, and there Raghunath Das Goswami was born. And he was born in a very affluent family actually. So his father Govardhan Majumdar and his uncle Hiranya Majumdar, they were big landowners there, and they would make at that time, I think 800,000 rupees every year. So, and I was hearing a lecture by Radhanath Maharaj. He mentions an interesting fact that At that time, one could buy 650 pounds of rice with 1 rupee. With 1 Indian rupee, one could buy 650 pounds of rice.
Wow.
Now, I tried to do some math, which is imperfect, taking the price of rice as the factor of inflation. I could come to the conclusion that if the Govardhan and Hiranya, Raghunath Das Goswami's parents were there, uncle and father were there today, they would be earning in more than 1 million. So a year, or it doesn't mention whether this is a year or a month, because this was money collected by taxes, through taxes. So could be month, could be a year, maybe a year. But yeah, it would be, he was born in that kind of an affluent family, multi-millionaires. So that was his upbringing. But then since childhood, he was always hearing from 2 very great devotees of Lord Chaitanya, Yadunandan Acharya and Balaram Acharya. They used to live in a neighboring village, and he used to hear from them, and he developed a lot of attachment for Mahaprabhu, for Krishna and his message. And these 2 devotees, Yadunandan and Balaram Acharya, they were disciples of Advaita Acharya, and they were very close friends with Vasudev Datta. So very, very wonderful personalities. Now we know about Haridas Thakur, how Haridas Thakur in a place in Bangladesh, this Ramchandra Khan became envious of him, and he sent a prostitute to entice him into breaking his vows. But then Haridas Thakur purified her, and then she surrendered unto him as a disciple. And then Haridas Thakur, it says he moved from there, and then he went to this place where Balaram Acharya and Yadunandan, who were like the teachers of Raghunath Das Goswami, they used to reside. It's called Chandpur. So Haridas Thakur goes to Chandpur, and then there Balaram Acharya and Yadunandan Acharya, they see that this great soul is here. So let's arrange a conference on the holy names. So then they arrange a conference on the holy names, which was to be conducted by Haridas Thakur. And then they invite many devotees from all over. And Raghunath, who was a 15-year-old boy that time, no, he was not, he was actually much younger. He happens to go there for this conference. And the renunciation, the attachment to Krishna, the attachment to Mahaprabhu, it is said that that was a turning point in Raghunath's life. He saw the renunciation of Haridas Thakur, he saw his attachment to the holy names, he saw his attachment to Mahaprabhu. And that's when he thought that, yes, this is the life that I want to live. And then it says that, so this was happening, and then he was getting a lot of nourishment from Yadunandan Acharya, Balaram Acharya. Now what happened is Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, and Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, and there is this famous story that immediately after taking sannyas, Lord Chaitanya wanted to go to Vrindavan, but Lord Nityananda, through some transcendental trickery, in order to appease the agony of pain that his Mahaprabhu's devotees were going through because of separation from him, through trickery, he brought him to Shantipur, which is again near Mayapur. So Mahaprabhu never ended up going to Vrindavan that time. And so he goes to Shantipur, and then Mahaprabhu there, he lived in the house of Advaita Acharya. Now Advaita Acharya was very good friends with Raghunath's parents, Raghunath's father and uncle, because Raghunath's father and uncle, they were very affluent, very rich, but they were very pious as well. They were patrons of the movement that time. They were patrons of the devotees. They would make sure that the Vaishnavas were unimpeded in their practice, because it was a Muslim rule that time. But then they had an agreement with the king there, the Muslim king. So then, so naturally, Advaita Acharya, being the kind of the head of the movement in that place, he was very good friends with Raghunath Das Goswami's parents. I mean, Raghunath Das, he was not yet a Goswami, he was just Raghunath. So his uncle and father were good friends with Advaita Acharya. And because of that, Advaita Acharya took Raghunath, little Raghunath, who was a 15-year-old boy that time, in the presence of Mahaprabhu. And then Raghunath, he got to serve Mahaprabhu very nicely, and he became very much attached to Mahaprabhu. And his attachment became so intense that he said, that's it, I'm going to go to Puri now. I'm going to go to Puri to be with Mahaprabhu. But then, and then to that end, he tried to escape from his house. This was like I wouldn't say normal, but this was a regular occurrence in the household of Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar, where their son was trying to, leave home and go to Puri to surrender to Mahaprabhu. So every chance he'd get, he'd try to run away. So they kept many guards. It is said that at one point they kept 11 guards to guard him, 4 servants, 5 physical guards, and 2 brahmanas. So all these people just to keep Raghunath from escaping to Puri. So Radhanath Maharaji says in a lecture that Raghunath was trying to run away from everything that the people in this world run towards. So it's really interesting. We all, 4 servants, 5 physical guards. Wow, that's amazing. But then Raghunath's attachment to Mahaprabhu was such that he wanted to renounce all that and go to Mahaprabhu. Now, the second meeting with Mahaprabhu comes when Mahaprabhu, he starts to go to Vrindavan again 4 years later. But then he goes via Ramakeli, where he meets Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. And then there, the two, like Rupa and Sanatan, they tell him that, you should not go with such a huge crowd to Vrindavan because it's unsafe also. It's a Muslim rule. So better you just return now back to Puri. So then while returning back to Puri, he again went to Shantipur. Mahaprabhu went to Shantipur, and there again, Raghunath got to meet. And this time, so Raghunath's parents, they had kept all these guards to keep him from going, but then they also knew the greatness of Mahaprabhu. They knew that Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. They knew all that. So when they got the news that Mahaprabhu is going to come, Raghunath really insisted, please dad, please let me go. I really want to meet Mahaprabhu. And then they allowed him to go. But then, yeah, they said, be careful. They even sent guards with him to keep him from running away. Now, this was the time when that famous thing happened where Mahaprabhu told him. So Raghunath went and he expressed to Mahaprabhu and the devotees that I really want to surrender everything. I really want to give my family life up and come to you. And that's when Mahaprabhu told him, don't be a crazy man. So don't be a crazy man. There is the Bengali word, I forgot, but can you do this, Raghunath? Said Mahaprabhu. Live like an ordinary materialist, but internally be very much attached to Krishna. And then Raghunath, it is said that he took that instruction to heart. He was 19 years old back then. And then Raghunath goes back and then he gets married to a very nice girl, and then his Grihasthashram starts. And he was very expert in his duties actually. So often there is this allegation made towards devotees. My relatives have made that allegation, right? Or very often actually, that oh, you guys, you want to leave everything. You couldn't make it in this world. You couldn't do well in this world, and that is the reason you're just escaping. And I was reflecting on that. In case of Raghunath, he was very good at his skills of business and his skills of appeasing others and things like that. And that comes in an incident also where there is a misunderstanding between his father and uncle and another Muslim Chaudhry, the tax collector. So apparently Raghunath's dad and uncle, they had overthrown his power, this governor's powers, and they started giving taxes directly to the Muslim king. So this guy, the middleman, became jobless, and then he was frustrated. So then he made a plan, he hatched a plan such that he was going to then, he ratted something out to the king, and then the king said, okay, catch them and bring them to me. And then this Chaudhry, he goes to catch Raghunath's father and uncle, but they weren't there. His uncle was absconding. He got to know that this is going to happen, so he ran away. His father was on a trip somewhere. And then because they both were not there, they caught Raghunath. So this Chaudhry, he caught Raghunath, and then Raghunath, in a very sweet voice, he said, you are actually like my father, my uncle, and you all are like brothers. And sometimes brothers quarrel, it happens. So, but it's not such a big thing. And you are like my father, I'm like your son. And he goes on to glorify this Chaudhry and everything. And finally, this Chaudhry, he gets so moved by the words of Raghunath that he starts crying. with tears in his eyes, he says, yeah, you are my son. Very nice. Okay, I'll let you go. But can you please tell your father and uncle to come and settle with me? And then Raghunath says, sure, I can do it. So he goes back and then they settle. It is said later. Now, again, coming back to that thing that, how this allegation is made against devotees that we try to escape from the world. I was reflecting on that and I feel escaping from the world through bhakti is actually better than escaping from the frustrations of the world through self-indulgent, self-deprecating activities. Because at least when we escape through bhakti, there is a possibility that Krishna will purify our hearts and then we'll do the right thing. But again, practicing devotion service out of escapism is not the highest, but it's not wrong either. I guess, yeah, it's a debatable thing, but it's not wrong either because there is that chance of higher elevation. Whereas in other self-deprecating activities, we just glide down deeper into the material realm. So then finally, and this his attempts to run away continue. Raghunath's attempts to run away. And then once his mother tells him, what, dear husband, let's tie him with ropes. And then Govardhan Majumdar, he says, are you kidding me? He has opulences like Indra. He lives in the, he is a multimillionaire. He has wife like an angel. If none of these things can tie him up, can bind him to material life, do you think really a rope can tie him up? A rope can stop him from going? So then this continued, and then that famous pastime where Lord Nityananda comes to Panihati. This is another village on the other side of the Ganga. So, and again, Raghunath goes there, and again, it's a very detailed and famous pastime. And Lord Nityananda, I'll just summarize it. Lord Nityananda asks him to feed all the Vaishnavas there, what we call as chida dahi or chipped rice. So chipped rice and condensed milk along with fruits and everything. It's a really nice preparation. I've had it before. So then Lord Nityananda also blesses him. And whichever great soul Raghunath would meet, he would say that I really want to go and serve Mahaprabhu. I really want to go away from worldly life and things like that. So my God, it's 41 already. So he expresses this to Lord Nityananda as well. And Lord Nityananda says that soon your desires would be fulfilled. Soon there will come a time when Mahaprabhu will accept you and Mahaprabhu will give you in the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami, his personal servant. And no doubt that time came when one day his guru Yadunandan, Acharya, he came at late night. So there were guards guarding Raghunath's room and everything. But Raghunath would sleep on the, there is a, I don't know what they call it, like the place which is not outside, inside the home, but it's kind of outside. It's on the boundary and
Terrace.
Kind of a terrace, yeah. So Raghunath would
Balcony,
sleep, balcony, porch. So Raghunath would sleep there, and there were guards. But then late at night, his guru came, Yadunandan Acharya. He said that Raghunath, look, what has happened is the person who serves my deities, he's actually, for some reason, he stopped doing it. So I want you to go and convince him to do it, to resume his service. And then everyone trusted Yadunandan Acharya as the guru. So then they let him go. And some of the guards were also asleep because it was late night. And then Raghunath saw this as the chance that he was waiting for. And then he left. And then he took a route that was not very common, not the regular route to Puri. He went through the forest and everything so that he should not get caught by others. And then when they woke up, when his parents woke up, they saw that, oh, Raghunath has gone. So around the same time, Shivanand Sen, another great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, was taking a group of devotees to Jagannath Puri to meet Mahaprabhu. So then Raghunath's father thought, okay, he will be in that group. So let's send him there. Let's send the guards there to search for him. But then the guards go and they find that he wasn't there because he was not there with them. He took a different route. So then he reaches Jagannath Puri, and there is a famous verse. Actually, I had initially thought of covering that verse where Mahaprabhu gives Raghunath's responsibility to Swarup Damodar Goswami. But then I thought this one was, it had much more theme in it. So then Mahaprabhu, he's very pleased that Raghunath is here, and then he says, Raghunath, now Swarup Damodar, I'm giving Raghunath to you. So since then, Raghunath Das Goswami was known as Swarupera Raghu. So it is said that there were 3 Raghunaths in Mahaprabhu's entourage. So one is a Vaidya, a doctor called Raghunath. The second one is Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. And then this is the third Raghunath, Raghunath Das Goswami. So then after that, Raghunath Das Goswami was known as Swarupera Raghu. So the Raghunath of Swarup Damodar. And then there in Jagannath Puri also, Raghunath Das Goswami exhibits a very, very extreme level of renunciation. And this renunciation, as we discussed in the beginning, it was not fueled by overindulgence, it was not fueled by frustration, but it was fueled by very intense attachment to Mahaprabhu, very intense attachment to Jagannath, very intense attachment to the holy names. So seeing that is Mahaprabhu is very pleased. He's pleased to taste the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. And then, of course, I completely compacted his story in Jagannath Puri. Then after Mahaprabhu leaves the world, Raghunath Das Goswami, he goes to Vrindavan. So he goes to Vrindavan with a lot of disappointment and an intention to end his life, because Mahaprabhu, his life's ultimate shelter, was not there anymore. So he goes to Vrindavan, he takes shelter of, he takes blessings from Rupa and Sanatan, and then he expresses his desire to go and jump from Govardhan and give his life. But then Rupa and Sanatan say that no, you are such a valuable devotee, you are a direct associate of Lord Chaitanya, so you can actually be here and fulfill the mission of Lord Chaitanya and of unearthing the holy places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And the greatest thing that you have, the treasure that you have in your memory, are the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. So why don't you, tell all those pastimes here to all the devotees in Vrindavan? So that time it was not like, if something happens, if something, some incident happens concerning a great soul in our movement in India, for example, it reaches us in a few days. But that was not the case that time, because the media was not that advanced. And then, so then the devotees in Vrindavan, they were very much looking forward to hear from Raghunath Das Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he said that every day he would give classes on the life of Mahaprabhu in Puri. And one of the devotees in the audience was Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He was taking elaborate notes, and then he writes that, he writes Chaitanya Charitamrit, especially Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Puri, from the lectures given by Raghunath Das Goswami. So anyway, so one of the things that Raghunath Das Goswami also did in Vrindavan is, so he had his bhajan kutir. He didn't have a bhajan kutir. Again, a very interesting story. So he would chant the holy names of the Lord almost throughout the day. And then it so happened once that there was scorching sunlight, lot of scorching heat and very intense sunlight. And then Raghunath Das Goswami he didn't have a shelter on it. He would just be in the open and chant. But then the sun was so intense at that point that Radharani herself, she's coming and she's holding a cloth over Raghunath Das Goswami to give him the shade. And then she herself is perspiring because of the sunlight. And then this was witnessed by Sanatan Goswami. And Sanatan Goswami, after witnessing this, he goes and tells that, Raghunath Das, we are supposed to serve Radharani, but here Radharani is coming and serving you. So why don't you please make a bhajan kutir? So then he makes a bhajan kutir. So he makes his bhajan kutir right next to Radha Kund. Today also, when you go to Vrindavan, it is a very nice place to visit, the bhajan kutir of Raghunath Das Goswami. And then one of the desires he gets is, so at that time, Radha Kund and Sham Kund were discovered by Mahaprabhu, were revealed by Mahaprabhu to the world. But they were just 2 puddles in a paddy field, just 2 puddles, and it was not developed the way it is today. And then Raghunath Das Goswami gets this desire that I should develop this. I should develop this Radha Kund and Sham Kund for devotees to come in the future nicely, so that they can come here and partake of the mercy. So he gets his desire, but then he thinks, I'm a renunciate. what can I do? Out of humility, he puts that thought aside for a while. But then it so happens that a very wealthy merchant, I think he was from Vrindavan, but he wanted to go to Badrikashram in the Himalayas, and then he wants to give a lot of donation to the temple of Badrinarayan in Badrikashram. But then it so happened that one day in this merchant's dream, Badrinarayan himself came and said that you don't need to give me any donation, just take all this money and give it to this saint called Raghunath Das Goswami near Radhakund. And then he goes to Raghunath Das Goswami, he says that yes, I want this and I want to donate, and then Raghunath Das goes, sure. And then he develops Radhakund and Shamkund. Now, it is said that the desire of a devotee, the desire of a pure devotee, Krishna actually makes sure that it is fulfilled. It reminds me of that incident where Prabhupada, he was walking in Mumbai, and where Chowpatty temple is today, and then he just pointed his stick and said that we should have a temple here. It will be nice to have a temple here. And then lo and behold, Krishna has fulfilled those words of Prabhupada, and now today there is a huge temple there. Very nice. So yeah, that is one thing. And then he develops Radhakund and Shamkund, and again he exhibits this extreme renunciation in Vrindavan as well. He used to drink only some buttermilk every day, and he would serve for 22 hours in a day. Just 2 hours he would rest and do other things. And Prabhupada, of course, he writes that if one tries to imitate this type of renunciation, one will die. Prabhupada says. So we don't have to imitate as it is. That is not the point here. But then I was trying to think, what is really true renunciation? True renunciation is not the first two categories that we discussed earlier. Fueled by overindulgence, I'm disgusted with this, I don't want this anymore, or fueled by frustration, I can't get enough of it. But then it's fueled by attachment to something higher. Yes, there is an element of us trying to renounce something, us trying to give up something and organically get there. But at the same time, that attachment to a higher reality, that attachment to Krishna needs to be there. And when that internal attachment to Krishna is there, then that internal renunciation keeps happening. Externally, we may be engaged in the world. So since today is also the appearance of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, I was trying to contrast, the externals of Raghunath Das Goswami and Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi was a very, very, affluent personality, and his affluence was shown in his behavior. So there is an incident where Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he visits a place, and then Gadadhar Pandit, Vasudev Dutt, I think, tells him that, or Mukunda Dutt, somebody tells him, Mukunda Dutt, tells him that this great devotee Pundarik Vidyanidhi is here, you should go and meet him. And then they both go, Gadadhar Pandit and Mukunda Dutt. And then they see that Pundarik Vidyanidhi is very, he's sitting in a huge sofa, he has people fanning him, he's eating betel nuts, he has all sorts of costly jewelry on him, costly dresses, he's nicely enjoying everything. And then Gadadhar Pandit is like, what is this? He's the great devotee of the Lord. And so externally, it seemed that he wasn't. But then Mukunda Dutt said, oh, you want to see how great he is? Then he chanted that famous verse of Bhagavatam, Aho Bakiyam Sthanakala Kutam. It glorifies Krishna as being so compassionate that he even delivered Putna because she had a tinge of motherhood in her act of coming and trying to poison him by feeding him milk. And as soon as Mukunda Dutt chants this verse, Pundarik Vidyanidhi jumps up in ecstasy and starts dancing and chanting the holy names and things like that. So I was trying to contrast. So externally, this renunciation that happens because of attachment to Krishna, it may not manifest itself externally in a very pronounced way, but then internally what's going on, Krishna knows, our Guru knows, and we know. So yeah, and the real essence of renunciation is the internal conviction that Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Krishna is the beneficiary of all sacrifices, and Krishna is the Suhrid, or the well-wishing friend of everyone. And one of the things that I was hearing recently in a Prabhupada lecture was that one important aspect of renunciation is, and this is very important and this is very interesting also. One important aspect of renunciation is to give up the idea that I have something to renounce. So, because when we think of renunciation, we think that, okay, this belongs to me and I'm renouncing it. But Bhagavad Gita 5.29, it says in the outset that nothing belongs to you. So, one of the important aspects of renunciation is that we recognize that nothing is mine to renounce to begin with. So anyway, that detachment, that renunciation comes when we get attached to Krishna. And I realize I've spoken a lot about renunciation. I'm neither in the renounced order of life, nor am I renounced like many other great souls here. So yeah, thank you very much. This is all I had. Any thoughts, reflections?
Jagannath Gopal Prabhu, wonderful class. A question. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. How do we know that? Let me phrase it differently. Is it possible to have it both ways? Is it possible to enjoy materially and also be a sincere, deep, progressing devotee on the inside? Can you have it both ways?
So yeah, I mean, we can have it both ways in the sense that we can be on the path and we can be honest with ourselves that yes, I need this thing for me to continue on this path. I need this thing for my mind to be peaceful, to be engaged in the service of Krishna. And then yes, slowly we organically grow, and then we'll see that we are developing the detachment when we are dedicated to those practices, when we are sincerely trying to, despite whatever internal desires we have, despite all that, we are trying to sincerely serve Krishna. Then that renunciation will come as a byproduct, as that Bhagavatam verse mentions. So yeah, in that sense, it is possible to have it both ways. Yeah. But then the thing is, once we practice bhakti to a level and we develop that taste, then we'll start losing that taste for all these other things. So although we may be having it both ways, but then we'll see that okay, it's yeah, there is nothing here. So of course, this I'm speaking this out of theory, in the sense of whatever I've read and heard. I'm yet to develop that experience, but yeah, that's what happens. So we lose taste, and I mean, I take that back. So I wouldn't say I'm not completely experienced. I would say I'm not experienced to the level of these great souls. But yeah, there are certain things that happened very smoothly for me when I practiced bhakti. That yeah, like for example, onion, garlic, and things like, yeah, it's okay. There is no craving now in devotees, like when I've spoken to and all that. Even in me, like, oh no, I want that. I want, the four regs, for example. So yeah, struggles. Sorry,
What?
like the activities that violate the four regs. So it's not that after a level of practice, of course there is struggle. I'm not saying there is no struggle, but then still there is some, the mission becomes higher, the dedication to Krishna becomes higher. So I don't know.
Thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. Okay, temple room.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, there's about 30 seconds left.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
You asked a good question. And be careful. That's all, because these things can be bewildered. A person who's attached to material enjoyment and bewildered by such things, Shastra says, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said, you can have it both ways. I'm confused now.
All right, now you're asking me, but you interrupt me, so I can't answer.
I'm sorry.
I said, be careful. But the point is that we don't throw things away. We use them in Krishna's service. There's a devotee in India. He has a light bulb factory. He has 40,000 employees. And he told us Before I was initiated, I was thinking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? He still has the employees, but now he's saying my attitude is, what's in it for Krishna? How can I use what Krishna has given me in devotional service? Whether it's a penny or, millions of dollars, the appropriate thing is to use it in Krishna's service, and that's real renunciation. To be willing to go either way. Just like sometimes I've seen brahmacharis who say, I want to get married, I want to get married, And then when they get married, they go, well, what am I stuck in this thing for? I wish I was a brahmachari. So the real renunciation is not, real sannyasi is not who uh, lights no fire and performs no work. That if we're willing to do either, depending on what Krishna wants, and that's really, it's not that difficult to understand. But be careful.
Thank you. So
Okay.
if I really want to go to Disneyland, I can go and chant while I'm waiting in the line.
Any sentence that begins with I want, is Lord, what do you want?
Thank you. Krishna, do you want me to go to Disneyland? That's the question.
So Krishna sent us many places in devotional service to Krishna.
Well, they need a new goofy character, a goofy character for Disneyland. So I think you should go to Disneyland.
Whatever Bhima says, that is Shastra. Something there, he's praying intensely to Krishna what to say, I'm sure.
I don't know any Shastra, but I know by experience, Prabhupada said, enjoy and then suffer. So trust me, if you are getting some happiness, you're going to be getting the other side of that coin as well. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. Thank you.
Lotus feet of our spiritual master, way lotus feet can obtain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have purified. My cleanse and naked from his lotus mouth. Attachment to the lotus feet, perfection of all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic flame I embrace, and my ignorance is destroyed. Today the scripture sings, our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, and the Lord of Lord asks to be merciful unto us. Give us a shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you, Janitai Prabhu. Welcome to the Afterglow. Happy Vasanta Panchami. I hope I pronounced it right. It's the first day of spring, and of all the season, Krishna is the spring. Okay. Is Jagannath Gopal here? Jagannath Gopal Prabhu, would you like to summarize, or maybe would you like to take questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry if I was not articulate or if I was not, I don't know, I didn't speak very well or express myself very well. But yeah, I can summarize and then we can have questions maybe. So we spoke about the three renunciation, the types of renunciation. One is fueled by overindulgence, one is fueled by frustration, and the other is fueled by attachment to Krishna. And then in the third category, we saw the life of Raghunath Das Goswami, how he was renounced in his attachment to, renounced due to his attachment, strong attachment to Krishna, to the holy names, to Mahaprabhu. And yeah, we can hope and pray on this auspicious day, so many appearance and disappearance days, that we can also develop that attachment to Krishna and go towards him.
Thank you. Organically. By developing attachment to Krishna, we will gradually lose attachments to other things.
Correct. So I was also thinking about your question about, Disney. If I want to go to Disney, should I go to Disney? I feel, of course, that specific thing, we have to use our discretion also, in the sense that is something making me so agitated that I'm unable to focus on my bhakti? Is something making me that agitated? Then maybe it's better to just get it done with and be peaceful and practice bhakti nicely. But then at the same time, we also have to get out of our comfort zone little by little, because otherwise, I guess growth doesn't happen unless we get out of our comfort zone. But we can't get out to such an extent that everything falls apart. Even our determination to practice bhakti falls apart. So
Thank you. Yeah, even if we go to Disneyland, let's say we go, still we can't enjoy the way we thought we would. We're like, okay, all right, so what? Big deal. Like Raghunath Prabhu says, we know too much already. We can't, even if we go for it, we still can't enjoy. But if Goofy or Mickey Mouse is bothering you to the extent where you can't chant your rounds nicely, Bhima Prabhu, then please go.
I'm bashful.
What's
I'm
that?
I'm like Bambi. If I was a Disney character, I'd be Bambi. I'm just innocent of all this. No, Disney World's great, Prabhu. When your son gets to be about 3, spend the money and just stay on Disney property, and that way you get to go around Disney when nobody else is there. Do it. No, do it, and bring your bead bag with you. All glories to your service, Prabhu. Krishna doesn't want us to suffer and be dry. He doesn't need any of that stuff. He wants us to be happy, and there's no better preacher in life than a happy devotee. So everything Krishna says in moderation, but never forget him. That's the whole thing. Are you forgetting Krishna? when you are in Disney? No, he's probably saying, oh, what a wonderful world, this crazy, crazy Disney world. This place I'm in, Disney World, is very much like my mind.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, be happy. Chant and be happy. That, chant, you got to chant around it. Chant. Yeah, chant. Prabhupada said chant and be happy. And if the Disneyland doesn't make you happy, then don't go back. Krishna will give you your happiness.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Thank you for being real. Thank you. Real and cutting. Okay. Krishna Kumari, how are you? Would you like to share
We're
something?
trying to get there to see Radha Muralidhar.
Oh, nice. Today?
Yeah.
You're coming for Vinisha's initiation?
We sure are. Got my
Cool.
yellow sari.
Nice.
You know, I raised my children not watching TV, and one year my mom really wanted us to go to Disney with their cousins, and I thought, okay, I didn't get a yes for me, but I got a yes to do it for her. And there was one point where I just sat on the curb there. This was like Krishna chant. I was just chanting, not out of desperation, just like, I'm just going to pray to Krishna. My kids wanted to leave there every chance they could. Their cousins loved it. They were dressed up. And my kids, even to go for lunch, are like, Mom, let's just leave the property. We brought our own food. And they never were into any of the hoopla. Like they saw it as like, I don't know. You'd have to ask my kids what they thought of Disney. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna Kumari. Very valuable contribution from experience. Thank you.
Radha Muralidhar. Now they rock our world.
That's right. Radha Muralidhar land. Narottam Nitai, unmute yourself, please.
Dandavats, yeah, Hare Krishna. I just really amazing lecture in class and very important too. Uh, I it's an important topic to discuss, and I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, we've seen like different types of yogis. They do different types of tapasyas, like like the first two um ways of trying to renounce. But yeah, the best way is Krishna consciousness, being attached to Krishna consciousness, and everything like it's related to Krishna. In the sense, I just wanted to reflect because like as like a whole world, we all gone through various types of like difficulties, like whether it be in the past, like yogis doing tapasya and all these things, and all culminated to now Mahaprabhu giving us, the unlimited like mercy of Krishna. So like I don't know, I'm sure not trying to be grateful for it. Like it's important to keep things in perspective, but like also um to realize how fortunate we are just to be able to chant Hare Krishna and then to take that gratitude further with I'm in the stage of anartha and everything. So like renunciation is but it's an important topic to understand. I'll just say that. Hare Krishna. If that makes sense, because we're not in the age where like we're like 5,000 years or before, where we have to do a lot of tapasya in order to and you have to actually experience to go through all these things. The best renunciation, I just wanted to say, is through attachment to Krishna. So that's my reflection. I just wanted to say that. Thanks for tolerating me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. Yeah, every time after a good morning program, a good class, chanting some rounds, you go out the door and you look at the world and you go like, how can people live without Krishna? We're so fortunate to be able to chant Hare Krishna, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. Thank you for highlighting that. Okay, Jagannath Gopal, back to you.
That's all from me, Prabhu. Very grateful to be in your association, or in the association of all the devotees here. Yeah, morning program, morning class is very nourishing for me personally. I get to learn a lot. So,
And that was the person who gave the class. Wow. See how humble Jagannath Gopal is? He's here to learn and serve. Thank you. Thank you for enlightening us. Okay, so with this, we are going to ask an introverted devotee to say Hare Krishna. Please unmute yourself if you feel introverted today. All right. How about Siham? Siham, do you feel introverted enough to say Hare
I
Krishna?
am very introverted. So, Hare Krishna.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday. Happy
Thank
Vasanta
you.
Panchami. We love you. We need you. Come again tomorrow to glorify Krishna.